Catapulting Commissions family. What's up, team? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Catapulting Commissions podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Garcia. So we are going to dive in today in a platform or tool that I got to be honest with you, I don't know if enough of you are using this. Let me tell you about my guest today. He is the co-founder and CEO of Dubb, a popular video series platform that helps businesses 30x their sales. They've worked with over 65,000 businesses, including well-known organizations like Keller Williams, Grant Cardone, Fannie Mae, eXp Realty, whose sales team used the platform to produce personalized video messages that boost connections, conversions, and revenue. Ruben Dubb has over 20 years of marketing experience and is also the author of Click Record, How Overcoming Fear, Storytelling, and Video Marketing Can Change Your Life, which was an Amazon Best New Release book in the direct marketing entrepreneurship categories. Ruben, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Appreciate the warm welcome here. Psyched to be here, man.
Glad to have you here. So, Ruben, let's jump into this, right? So, you're the co-founder of Dubb, a video sales platform. You're talking to an audience that is trying to accelerate and increase sales across the board. I start the show by saying not many of you have jumped on this. And you know, without disclosing too much, I mean, I have a client that comes to mind that we just had this conversation earlier in the week. So I'm going to use this as a training tool. Help us understand the state of video and how or why we should be implementing the use of video to accelerate the sales process, increase conversions, and for lack of better words, catapult our commissions.
Well, okay, I'll share three really quick things with you to kind of help share what I go through on a daily basis. My purpose in life is to help people to sell, period. That's why I'm here. I believe that salespeople make the world go round. Without salespeople, we don't buy insurance, we don't buy homes, we don't buy cars, we don't buy the things that we need in order to solve our problems and to ultimately gain happiness. So I believe in that model. Okay. That said, I think that there's a lot of challenges that we have when it comes to building trust with the people that we're trying to sell to, because there's this wall, there's this trust wall that we as sales professionals, we have to sort of overcome. Okay. And the reason why that wall exists is because there's been such an overabundance of information in every single capacity that have resulted in us putting up a barrier, a wall. Okay, our emails, our phones, our SMS. I just got a scam likely call right was literally while I'm on this podcast. In fact, let me put my phone on mute in case I get another. And we're all suffering from that, right? So how do we deal with that, and how do we overcome that challenge? Because there's nothing that's more disheartening for a sales professional to know that their emails are being ignored, their phone calls are being ignored, and their SMS messages are now being ignored, but ultimately they'll go to some sort of a spam folder. So what I'd like to do is, all is not lost here. I'm an optimist, and, I want to provide a very viable solution and a very viable process. And here's the really interesting three quick things that I want to share. Number one is the most frustrating thing that I hear in my job on a daily basis is, why don't you use video for sales? And the response is, well, I don't know if I want to go on YouTube. I don't know if I'm a celebrity or an influencer that needs to start a YouTube channel. Okay, that's not what I meant when I said video. And I always kind of go back to the same place of compassion and empathy and listening and try to understand why the person thinks that video means you have to be a celebrity on YouTube or a podcast like you, Anthony. That's the first thing. Okay. Yeah, go hit me.
No, I was gonna say you speak to me on that, because I've heard that before, right? Like, video's not for me. I'm not good in front of camera. So we'll come back to that. Go ahead. Drop us with the second one.
The second one is this idea that video in sales means sending personalized video messages via email, SMS, LinkedIn, or any other channel that you can do. The way that I see this, and I I'm being a little fun here. I'm not being a jerk. I'm just doing this to be visual and to be interesting. But sending text-based messages is kind of like using one of these old school flip phones right here. Okay. Now this is pretty cool. This looks like the one from the Matrix, right? Probably a 15-year-old phone. Sending text-based emails for sales prospecting has basically no humanity to it. When people read text, when they read letters, there's no human being on the other side of that, which is why it's so easy to ignore people. It's so easy to get an email or a LinkedIn message or an SMS and just to pretend like you never got it and look the other way and delete it, or even hit the report spam, which is terrible, right? The second that we add humanity, we add our face, we add our story, we add a real relationship building thing, all of a sudden that person now has manners on the other side. They're probably not going to ignore us. They're going to give us the respect and hopefully a response. And that is where a connection can at least start. The booking and the sale, that's all next. But at least we can make a connection with that humanity. We call it the parasocial relationship that exists with video. Okay, so that's the second bit. You want to hear the third one?
Yeah, fire away.
The third one is that it's so easy to add video to your sales process, it's not even funny. And I'll just leave it there for now because we'll get into that later. I want to hear what you have to say to all this.
Oh my goodness. So a couple things peel layers back, right? Let's talk first, or let's talk about the one you mentioned, number 2. The use of video and trying to tie it in. This human connection you reference, I mean, I gotta be honest with you, like, I hate saying this because someone's going to hit me with this, but we get pitched all the time, and I'm sure you get pitched all the time. I get vendors that try to come to me all the time for various different services, needs, and et cetera. And the vendors or pitches that I see, or I even respond and say, hey, man, great stuff, maybe not interested, or even if I've booked meetings from, have been so customized, or they've been video friendly where I can actually see, hey, you're a real person just like me. So there's that component where it creates the familiarity. So I definitely speak to that. And then, you mentioned earlier, right? I don't want to be on YouTube, or I hear people say all the time, right? Well, that person can do video. That person can do video. I can't do video. I'm not in front of the camera. So how do we help those folks who maybe are a little camera shy, or like, what do you have to say to those folks that are camera shy that, hey, I hear you, Ruben. I get it. I don't want to be antiquated like that. And he demonstrated an old, I think it was a BlackBerry flip phone for those who listening in the car right now. I don't want to be like that. But what do you have to say to those people that are just so uncomfortable that they're nervous to even get in front of the camera?
Okay, so fear is a real thing. In fact, you did a podcast on fear, which I recommend that people check out, and how to overcome fear specifically. And what's so interesting about statements like, I don't have a face for video. I don't want to be a celebrity. I'm video phobic. I don't think I look good on camera. I don't think I sound good on camera. I have nothing to say. Those are basically objections that we've come up with in our mind to justify why we don't feel comfortable being on camera. But really what it is, it's basically us saying that we haven't practiced it to the point where we feel comfortable being on video, or number 2, we don't see the value in having to do that. My favorite conversation about this goes something like this. I'm in touch with someone, he or she is in sales. There's a sales leader, they're doing okay, but they want to do a lot better. They realize that the competition has become fierce. So they're in some sort of a consulting call with me, or on a podcast or an educational thing. And they say, I don't feel comfortable on camera, but I know that I should probably do it. So talk to me, what's going on? And I ask this simple question. Do you want to do videos? They say no. I say, okay, that's fine. Do you want more high quality leads for your business that you can ultimately turn into referring, raving clients that build up your pipeline, build up your revenue, build up your commissions, and ultimately catapult everything that you want in your life? Catapulting commissions, right? That's the name of the podcast. So here's my take. My take is, if the answer is yes to that question, which of course it always is, then the best way to get it is through video. Okay? And when I say video, it doesn't start with YouTube. It can end with YouTube. It can end with a video podcast, but it doesn't start there. And once I sort of hook them with that idea that video is the easiest path to get what you want in your life, which is probably more commissions, then video is the way you're going to get there. The second thing I always tell people is that it just requires repetition, repetition, repetition. Anthony, you have published 176 podcasts on your podcast. Congratulations. That's amazing. That's a huge effort. I bet you have 15 in the bag too. So you're probably at somewhere near 200, right? Talk to me about the repetition that you've gone through in your life. What was it like doing your first podcast? Did you have the Apple AirPods, the white AirPods, and you just plugged into your old laptop? I mean, Think about how much you've gone, and now look, your setup is amazing. Repetition, repetition, repetition makes you comfortable.
Yeah, first of all, yeah, thank you for acknowledging the podcast. I had the white AirPods for my audio. I did have a microphone, was nowhere near the quality of what we have right now. Didn't have the
Yeah.
mic set up, didn't have the video. Like, it was my first podcast, I think, had 7 downloads, and I'm pretty sure I was 5 of them. So it was definitely a long venture.
And now you got the Shure 7. That's the ultimate mic. I own the same one.
I love this thing, dude. I love this thing. So, okay, so repetition helps. And yeah, of course, as you're telling me this, I'm like, yeah, I want to accelerate sales, right? And what I'm about to tell Ruben right now, I didn't even tell him before the air, and this is true fun fact. So I was just having a call with my SDR this morning, and we were talking about some of the prospecting we were doing. My SDR literally says, Anthony, I need video of you, some personalized video. And I was like, oh, I mentioned the company that's a competitor or in the space of Dubb, which was Ruben's CEO. Didn't know about this, didn't know that, at the time, didn't know that, Ruben, this is the what his company did, but it's there. I mean, we're having this conversation because I myself am a business owner. I want to accelerate sales. And I'm like, yeah, I need to add some familiarity to the people who work with me or who want to work with me, who want to retain me. So this video, let's just say industries. Who or what industries should be leveraging video right now?
Yeah, this is such a great question. The way that I look at this, I can answer this question in one of two ways, and I hope that the way in which I answer this is really educational for people, because I just want to make a public service announcement very quickly, which is that to understand your audience and to understand your ideal client profile is one of the most important and one of the biggest challenges that anyone can do in their business. Because what we all want to do, because a lot of us come from the hustle culture. I know that that's expired now, and that's not a mindful place to be. You did a podcast on that, which I encourage people to check out. But a lot of us come from, I can sell anyone. Get anyone on the phone and I'll close them, right? That's not a healthy path to go, because if you try to cater to everyone, ultimately you'll sell to no one. So understanding your ideal client profile is so important. Like, do the exercise of figuring out the 30 to 50 parameters on who ideally is your customer, and get rid of everyone else, because they are not ideal. And just because a couple of people come in through the door and they fill out that form and they pick up the phone and they call you or send you an email, you're not on a directed path of your specific target audience. Because ultimately, if you're not, you're gonna be very horizontal and you're not going to be vertical. Okay, so that's just my public service announcement. I'm not an expert on this. I'm also going through the process. So let's do this together. Now, my answer to the question is this, though. There's two ways I can answer it, as I mentioned. Number one is, who is our ideal client profile?
Okay.
And then who should be using this? So who our ideal client profile is people that are in relationship-based businesses who have 5, 6, 7, 8 digit deal sizes, 9 if they're amazing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go through a sales cycle of 1 to 6 months, maybe more. It's not like a quick close. It's not like a self-checkout situation with a credit card. It's not like e-commerce, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's services. It can be products, but it's kind of mostly services, I would say. Those people really rely on relationships. They rely on trust, because chances are what they do, there's someone else out there that can also do it. Insurance, real estate, any type of service like that. So that's the first audience that we cater to. The second thing, though, the second way that I'm going to answer this is who should be doing this. And I think that everyone should be using video for sales. I don't think there's any person in sales right now that should not trying to clone themselves with video, send those via email, social media. If you're confident, you don't have to put your face on social media, by the way. You can do screen videos. We can talk about that later. So who do we cater to? Those specific types. Who should do video in sales? Everyone.
Oh man, you are speaking my love language there, because when you mentioned like the services, right? We kind of play in that same space, because I talk to the clients that I work with, and I really I always use the analogy, and this is like the one sentence analogy that when people say, hey, who are your clients you work with? I'm like, if you have to conduct, and I say Zoom because for the most part, I don't know, like the data of B2B face-to-face meetings is smaller and smaller, but if you have to conduct a Zoom meeting to develop a relationship with somebody and have a discovery call, introductory call, strategy call, whatever it's branded as, and you have a service offering that they can't pay for with a credit card on a website, I'll work with you, because you have to establish this intimate, in-depth relationship that separates you from the person you're competing with. And I love how you said, right, chances are there's somebody else. I When clients work with me, it's like the hardest thing I tell them. Hey, just so you know, you are not the only person who does this. Chances are you may think you're the best. You're probably not. Like, there's someone just as good as you, if not better. Like, we have to acknowledge the state of commerce that we're in right now. So love what you're sharing there. Now, let's talk about the data behind this. Is there data, or what is the data that we should be considering on why implementing video, right? There's somebody listening right now that's like, man, you're speaking my language. Those are the type of deals we work for. Let's think of like an enterprise sales process, right? You said 1 to 6 months, 1 to 6 months with 18 touches in between and 3 decision makers to keep climbing up this ladder until someone finally says yes. Do you have data or anything that can help alleviate this person's mind on why we should be implementing video as a mandatory part of the sales process?
It's such an important thing to be talking about data. If we're not talking about real stats, real information, we're missing out, frankly. And this is what the data looks like from my perspective. If someone is committed to the process of using videos for sales, and what I mean by that, again, just to reiterate, is sending video emails, video SMS, video through LinkedIn. If they're committed to doing that at some point during the sales process, to get at least a couple of touch points where the person can see what's on their screen, see their face, build that parasocial relationship, build that trust factor, they can expect to see a lift between 30 to 300% in their actual revenue. I'm not talking about their open rates. I'm not talking about their click rates. I'm talking about revenue. And the reason why I'm qualified to say that is because we've had over 70,000 sales professionals sign up for Dubb since we've started. And we have aggregate data. We have macro data. We see what the response rates are. We see what the click rates are. We see in our CRM system when deals get marked from 80% closed to all the way closed with a specific transactional amount. And it's unbelievable what we see when we look at it. And it's so unbelievable that we get frustrated about this simple fact. And here's like my mic drop stat, which it breaks my heart, actually, to be honest. Only 3 to 5% of sales professionals actually use video in the right way as part of their sales process. 3 to 5%. Okay. There's like probably 6 to 10 million sales professional in some capacity in just America alone. Just think about that. Less than 5% are actually using video in the capacity that I'm talking about, right? And you might ask, well, why is that the case? Well, number one, it's because companies like Dubb have not done a good enough job evangelizing it. I want to take some ownership. I want to take some accountability of this. That's why I am on this podcast, to evangelize the power of video. Whether you use Dubb or whether you use another company, I don't really care. I just want you to succeed legitimately. Number two is that there are fear factors. There are reasons why people do not feel comfortable being on camera, which, again, I have empathy for that. Why? Because I used to be like that. I recorded probably 100 videos on my phone that never saw the light of day because I knew I needed the practice. So if you do have that voice in your head, chances are it's not you. It's a parent, it's a spouse, it's an ex-partner, it's an old boss. It's someone that said something to you where you kind of believed it, but you shouldn't have. And the only way to solve it is, again, through repetition. I'm repeating that. I'm repeating the repetition part.
Yeah. So hold on. I have a question on that. Catapult Commission family, you're listening to Ruben Dua. He's the co-founder and CEO of Dubb, a video platform that we are discussing massively. You should be implementing video. All right, Ruben, you said that less than 5% of salespeople are using video accurately.
Yeah.
Can you share with me some examples of the inaccuracy? How do people use video incorrectly?
Great. Okay, so the first thing is it's really a mindset thing, okay? And I really appreciate how you did a podcast on the hustle culture and how we need to sort of transcend from that. We need to get to a better place of education and value and relationship building and building content like what you do on the podcast. So shout out to you on that. But the first thing is making it about the person, the salesperson, not about the client. Who is the hero in this story? Like I took my kids to Chuck E. Cheese, and Chuck E. Cheese, by the way, public service announcement, they got a great salad bar. In case anyone knows, their pizza's pretty good too, but the salad bar is really fresh. I encourage that people check it out. But I was going to say this, that one of the lines from Chuck E. Cheese himself, the mouse, is that the star of the show is you. The star of the show is not me. And when Chuck E. Cheese comes out on stage or on that huge screen, he's a big mascot, right? But the writers behind that company who have really effectively become a content company, like the Chuck E. Cheese social channels and YouTube channels, they have tons of viral videos, right? Which we'll talk about in a second. But the idea of making your prospect, making your client, making your contact the hero of your story, in my opinion, is one of the most important things that you can do in sales. And frankly, it's the biggest mistake that people make. They make it about themselves. Do you know what I'm talking about? You go to a barbecue, you're talking to a person, you strike up a conversation, and all of a sudden, that person starts talking about themselves. I did this, I closed this, I accomplished this, I did this, that, and the other thing. None of us care. We don't care. All we hear is ego in that. If someone else was saying it about them, okay, well, then it's validated by a third party. No one wants to hang out with a person like that. So that's the first mistake that people make, is making it about themselves and not about the true hero, which is the person on the other end, the person that you're going to sell to and provide value to. And by the way, that you're going to keep in touch with after you close the deal, because that's another mistake that people make on video or off video. They don't keep in touch with their clients, the ones that they close. They sort of just rinse and repeat and go on to the next one. We can talk about that later too.
Oh man, yeah, it's hearing you say it's almost like to the simplicity of just human connection, having a conversation. Because as you share that, this eye-centric discussion, if it comes across in video, I mean that is, to me, I hear 8 seconds, 5 seconds, I'm like, I'm not interested no more.
Yeah,
You
it's hard.
really you're not leveraging or servicing really my attention. Which is, I argue to everybody, and people, Catapult Commissions family, you've heard me say this on the show. I argue that the most valuable resource our prospect gives us is their time. The moment they say yes to agree to a meeting, or they reach out to us to book a meeting, the most valuable resource in exchange right now is their time for my information. Whether I exchange services for revenue is all going to be dependent upon how I treat their time for the information that I share with them and for the problem I solve for them. So I love how you go on that approach of using video really in the fashion of just having being still customer centric focus, being off yourself and really on the purpose of what we're using and what we're utilizing. All right, so Ruben, in this platform, now I want to ask some technical specific questions here about the platform, because I'm sure someone's listening right now is like, okay, I get the concept. How technically robust or challenging is this? Because fun fact, one of the challenges that I have, and I have video production set up everywhere. I mean, my office is always set to record YouTube. I have a green screen studio upstairs in my house. I have a membership to a content lab where I live that they have different backgrounds of video. I mean, it's not hard for me to go to find a place to produce content. However, I know that when I record videos on my phone, those seem to be the most challenging. How does this integrate? Do I have to have the perfect lighting? Does this integrate with my CRM? Does this integrate with my existing phones? What are all the integrations on this platform?
Okay, so question number one is, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, let's try to share the screen over here. Yep. Can you see my screen?
It is coming up right now. Yep. All right, We got your screen.
Okay, so the I love the question that you asked in terms of, see, this is such an important clarifying question. There is this specific thing that people have an idea of. When we talk about video, we're talking about a studio environment, right? You're a professional podcaster. Your podcast is awesome. It's a top podcast in sales. You've developed this. It's taken you years to do that. We're not expecting for people to do this overnight. That is the farthest thing that we're expecting for people to do. When we talk about using video for sales, what we talk about is this idea of just using your webcam, using your phone. What you're looking at right now is the Dubb dashboard right here. And there's this little button right here where you can record or upload a video. Now, the power of this platform right here is that you can use the Dubb mobile app to record a video. it's gonna right now it's asking for access. You can you can import a video from YouTube. If you don't even want to be on camera, you can actually use a voice feature that allows you to type, and then you can actually play the video right here. So what I would encourage people to do is don't worry about how professional your video setup is. Focus on the story to start and get yourself comfortable, and then say, okay, you know what? My mic was not great. My lighting was not great. If you focus on the story first, it's going to unlock you to realize what the easy things to solve are. Because a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to go do video, and then they spend a ton of money, they set up this studio, and then they just don't know what to say, right? They don't know what to say, and that's the opposite of what you should be doing. First start with the story, first start with the content, with the connection, and then solve, oh, hey, there's a little bit there's too much top light here, this microphone was a little distorted. Those things are easy to solve with a couple of bucks.
Oh man, I love it. Just jump off the bridge, Catapulting Commissions family, for lack of better words. Just jump off, hit record. Let's put it in play, put it in motion. I myself, in my own business, am thinking of numerous ways that this can be applicable. I'm thinking of my clients for numerous ways that this can be applicable. So fairly simple. If you're on the car, be sure to click the YouTube video and watch the screen as Ruben kind of highlights some of the dashboard and some of the widgets behind Dubb, and the website is dubb.com. You can check all that fun stuff out. All right, what else we got?
I want to do a fun thing. Give me a problem that we can solve together. How to generate more leads, how to close leads, something very specific. What I'm going to do a quick demo of is the Dubb AI assistant, which is something that's integrated into the whole platform, because a lot of people, frankly, they don't know what to say on video. They don't know what to say in that YouTube video. They don't know what to say in that personalized video message that they're going to email. So you give me a query and let's see what the AI bot says.
All right, fair enough. So fun fact, got a lukewarm lead at a trade show, or kind of a soft inquiry on my website, didn't follow up right away. So now I want to reach out to this person. You know, the lead may be a little dated in terms of I either got it at a trade show last week, or they hit my website a week and a half ago. We didn't respond right away. So I'm reaching out to what I would call a lukewarm lead. Not really sure what to say because we're already late.
Okay, I'm going to put how to close a B2B sales lead generated from a trade show.
All right.
All right, so let's see what Ira says. Interactive reaction assistant. This is actually leveraging artificial intelligence. Everything that's the reason why this is different from ChatGPT is that this is all through the frame of sales and like specifically closing deals. So this is very revenue focused. This is not where you come and write a pop song. This is where you get sales scripts and YouTube video ideas, stuff like this. So here's its ideas. Use this with a grain of salt. What I always say is that artificial intelligence is the cure for writer's block. Okay, but ultimately it's the human being that needs to make this good. So number one is follow up promptly. Make sure to follow up with the lead within 24 to 48 hours. Number two is personalize your approach. Number three is offer a demo. Number four is provide social proof. We talk about that all the time. Number five is address objections. I think we discussed that as well. Set up a meeting. Well, that's a no-brainer. Get a booking. And then follow up consistently. You mentioned 18 touch points, so here it is.
Wow, I am thoroughly impressed. I won't even reference the competitors in this space, but they don't have this. I'm like, this is you're speaking to the language of who I am, but mostly to the person on how they're going to platform and how they're going to utilize this. I love what you're sharing here. Now, does this couple things I see on the left side of the screen? There's some automations or some CRM implementations.
Yeah.
Is this all synced up together?
It's all synced up. There's a lot to it. We've been building since 2018, integrated to HubSpot and Salesforce and ActiveCampaign and 200 plus CRM systems. In fact, we've created such deep CRM integrations that we had to build our own CRM because we have all the fields in our database anyways. Yeah. So if someone needs a CRM and they're not using one and they want to be video first, come on over to Dubb. Check it out, dubb.com.
Oh my goodness. Well, Catapulting Commissions family, I got to be honest with you. I am thoroughly impressed. If you've been following the YouTube video, you have seen some of the screen sharing that Ruben did. If you're on the audio version, be sure to go click that link below, get the YouTube show, watch the demo that Ruben just shared with us. So, Ruben, last question here. We're gonna become short on time here in the next few minutes, but I'd love to kind of bring this full 360 circle back. So we implement video. We're using this to help drive sales. Is there a way that this platform can be used to do the other parts of the sales, generate referrals, thanking your prospect afterwards, nurturing a long relationship, or if I'm a sales manager, sales leader, kind of inspiring, motivating, and kind of communicating with my team via video. Like, are there all these other applications? I can think of a million applications for video. I just want to see where either Dubb, like what's the primary lane, or if there's additional ways to use this.
Yeah, this is a great question. You know, what we always say is add video to every single process within your business, every single, internally and externally. So first and foremost, use the video platform that we've created, Dubb.com, for your sales outreach, for your prospecting, for your nurturing, for your closing. If you want to take to the next level, communicate with your team using video. There's a Dubb Chrome extension, a desktop app, a mobile app, you know, Slack integration, Gmail, Outlook. It just keeps going, where you can send a simple video. What I always like to say is this: do a 30-second video instead of a 30-minute video, a 30-minute meeting. A 30-second video instead of a 30-minute meeting, okay? And what I mean by that is that, let's say that someone says, hey, I don't get what you said, Anthony. What were you saying when you said that we need to do this better sort of touch point process within our sales? What does that mean? You can jump on a Zoom and you can take them through the whole process and go through that rabbit hole, or you can use the Dubb Chrome extension and record exactly what you're talking about on your screen and reference it within a video and then send it. And that way the person can go watch it. If they don't understand it, they can watch it again. They can watch it in slow motion. They can read the captions. They can really understand what it is that you said. And what that effectively is doing is going from synchronous communication to asynchronous communication. In fact, people have seen so much success using this model, sending videos instead of having meetings, that we had to build a Zoom integration. So now when you're in your Zoom meeting, and if you want to play a pre-recorded video that you've already recorded that's in your library, click two buttons and it starts to play. So this is a testimonial. This is social proof. That's what the AI told us to do. Use social proof. That means it's a video testimonial. Let's say that you have a demo. AI also told us to do a demo, show a demo. Let's record a demo for our business, our platform, our system. And let's play that for our prospect, for our team members. You know, let's start to use those videos. The other thing is that automations, I always say that automations are the final frontier of sales. Only about 10% of people in sales use automations. I wish it was more, because that's my favorite thing. I'm a marketing technologist, so I've built all these systems, and it's amazing what you can do with automation. You know, you mentioned you can auto follow up as a touch point, email, SMS. You can internally notify yourself if someone does a touch point, if they visit your website, if they fill out a form. You can get an email notification so that you can pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, Anthony, I noticed that you were on our website. I wanted to be here and available if you have any questions. Keep it personal, right?
Oh my goodness, Ruben, you are literally speaking my jam. Catapult the Commissions family. I have spoken to numerous people, as you heard Ruben say. I think we're 170 some guests on this show.
Yeah.
Not to mention the 200 or 300 YouTube videos we've put out. Right, we have been doing content for some time, and I will say this is one of the very first shows where I'm like, man, this hits everything that I thoroughly believe in, and it makes it easier. Like, this is just, I love the integrations, the Slack, the CRMs, the email, the Chrome extensions. It's just, the possibilities are endless. All right, Ruben. So as we come here to the end, a few things. How does the Catapulted Commissions family learn more about you, and then how do they learn more about Dubb? Like, where should we recommend and refer them to go to?
Well, what I recommend that people do is, I'm actually going to set up a special URL for you. So what I want people to do is to go to dubb.com/catapulting commissions. Just keep it simple. Dubb.com/catapulting commissions. And that URL is going to get them an account on Dubb. It's a free trial. There's no credit card required. We would never do that. Okay. Try it out. Send a video. Send me a video, Ruben@dubb.com. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to give you some feedback. This is the future, guys. Because do you want to be closing deals, or do you want to be on one of these flip phones right here?
Yeah, definitely don't want to be on the flip phones. Well, you guys heard that. Dubb.com/catapulting commissions. Dubb.com/catapulting commissions. You'll see that link in the show notes. Ruben, active on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Come check me out there.
All right, we will place Ruben Duo. We will place his URL for his LinkedIn profile in the show notes as well. Ruben, we thank you for joining the Catapulted Commissions podcast. I can't tell you how much value the audience took from this, how much value I took from this. I have a bazillion more questions, and I'm sure if you're open to it, I'd love to come back and grab you in the next year or two, come you back on the show, and really kind of see what has changed, what has growth, like what are all the new fun things that are going on with Dubb, and love to just circle back. You open to that?
I'm game, and I'd love to extend an invite to you, Anthony, to be on my podcast, Connection Loop. So I'll hit you up on that. We can coordinate.
Absolutely love to. I'll be on it. Catapult Commissions, check out for me on that show in the future. This is the part of the show you know what to do. Do me a favor, smash that like button. Be sure to subscribe, comment, shoot me a DM. Let me know your thoughts, right? Is video going to be a part of your plan? And if not, you're absolutely crazy, but tell me why, because I just want to hear. But if you are, let me know. Go check out that link. It's free to give it a shot. If it's free, it's for me. Go give it a shot, guys. All right, Catapult Commissions family, love you guys. I'll see you next week.